Wanderer's Eternal World Early Access just started today. So, how does the game look? Is it worth keeping an eye on? Let's dive right in. In Wanderers, there are several fairy tale inspired characters to pick from. By default, characters have one skill and a few passives, with 2 more skill slots for the 2 weapons they can carry. While their looks are static, you can further customize them with outfits and accessories, with an RGB dye system as well. There are also various mounts that are pretty cute. You can also obtain pets from the gacha, which will follow you around the world, and they give stats that even work in PvP. Speaking of which, there are also artifacts which you can earn in dungeons, and they also level up in ranks through dupes, and you can also pull them through gacha. So about the gameplay, let's take a look at that. The main PvE gameplay in Wanderers is Glitch Dungeon, a roguelike single-player dungeon. In the Glitch Dungeon, you start out with a basic weapon that grants a basic skill for your second slot. Picking up elemental weapons grants an additional skill based on the element, and when obtaining new weapons, you can swap out one weapon for another or use the weapon to upgrade a previous one if it's the same element. You'll also gain passive abilities as you level up within the dungeon. Progress through the levels of the dungeon by completing the objective of each floor, which is usually just kill all the enemies, but sometimes a short puzzle or minigame. Eventually, when you reach the end, you fight a boss and that concludes the dungeon. There is also a PvP game mode, where you try to be the first person to reach 9999 coins, while buying upgrades and battling other players trying to do the same. My experience with this mode is fairly limited as of right now, so I can't give too much input on it. There are also several mini-games to play in Wanderers, from mount races to beanstalk cutting and the classic OX quiz. However, none of these are really structured properly in the game, and are just kind of pieces of content that you can jump in and out of whenever, and as such, don't offer any benefits other than just being for fun. Now that we've covered the basics, let's sit back and talk about things for a bit, starting with the gameplay. Aside from obvious balance issues, where charging a giant hammer smash does the same damage as a single arrow basic attack, the combat in this game feels rather stiff currently. That is, that every attack will lock you in its animation, rendering you unable to move. And this is even the case for Scarlet, who wields dual pistols. She stands completely still and shoots attacks that feel very underwhelming. It's just not very interactive overall, as with many weapons, there aren't even different combos you could do with them. You literally just unload your cooldowns and wait for them to come back, especially if you're on a character with bad auto attacks. The gacha system in this game is also a bit worrying, with deep layers of power that could come from pulling several pets or artifacts that could even affect PvP. Heck, even costumes give stats, which is a bit scary. The open world, while pretty, can feel empty at times. There's not really that much to do outside, rather than gather some materials here and there. The game could have potential to be a good social game if it emphasizes minigames a lot more, but currently they offer little reason for people to play them other than the initial novel experience. The game's pretty cute, but it's still far from ready. Hopefully we'll see many improvements down the line when they prepare for a full release. Note that my experiences are limited to early access testing, and things are subject to change. See you guys next time!